So good afternoon. In today's class, what we are going to see is actually the numerical problems from the rectifier concepts that we learned. Okay, so that is going to be the topic for today. Numerical problems. On rectifiers. This is a topic, and this is being done to reinforce our understanding of the various configurations or various types of rectifier circuits. So, namely the half-wave rectifier, the full-wave rectifier, and the bridge rectifier. Okay, so with that in mind, let us go to problem number 1. So here you can see a half-wave rectifier circuit. Okay, so consider a half-wave rectifier circuit, HWR half-wave rectifier circuit, as shown here, as shown in figure. Find A, the angle at which the diode starts conducting. B, the total conduction angle. C, the average value of DC output. D, the peak current that flows through the circuit or the diode, that flows through the circuit. And E, the peak inverse voltage. Remember what is peak inverse voltage? Peak inverse voltage is the maximum reverse voltage that appears across the diode when it is under reverse bias. The peak inverse voltage. Okay, so this is to understand that the diode does not enter into breakdown region. So that is why this peak inverse voltage is calculated to ensure that we are operating the diode under reverse bias such that it is far away from the entering into breakdown region. Okay, in other words, we do not want conduction to happen when the diode is under reverse bias. That's it. So let us assume the constant voltage drop model and try to find out this answer. So to get to the first question, the angle at which the diode starts conducting, we know actually the diode, we have connected in half-wave rectifier only one diode, and the diode conducts only when it is under forward bias. The input supply alternates between positive and negative. Okay, therefore the only when the P terminal, okay, the terminal that is connected to the P region of the diode is is relatively more positive than the N region of the diode, then the diode will conduct. But before that, let us first try to give the parameters so that we can work out the numeric. So in the given problem, the input supply V in RMS value means root mean square value excuse me, is given as 12 volt. Okay, and resistance value across which we take the output is 100 ohms. These two things are given. We have to estimate the angle at which the diode starts conducting. So the diode conducts only in one half of the cycle, which is when the diode is under forward bias. Okay, so we will, to understand that, let us draw the output, okay, as a function of time, and then we will be able to do the problem angle at which the diode starts conducting. So this is the typical output from a half-wave rectifier. This is the typical output. Okay, and you see that the diode conducts only in one half of the cycle, which means here, when it is here, you will see that the diode starts to conduct at a voltage, because we know by constant voltage drop model, and we assume that until 0.7 for silicon diode, the diode does not conduct. Okay, it is not coming under forward bias. Okay, so the diode begins the conduction only when you apply the minimum voltage 0.7. So with that understanding, the constant voltage drop model, we can clearly see the output will be like this. Now what will be the output here? The output, you can see, it will be Vs minus Vd. This is the output. Okay, Vs minus Vd. This is the output. But you see here that this is the peak output. Peak output across the resistance, because there is a drop of 0.7 volt. So that will be what we will get. Okay, so now you think here, this, let this angle at which its conduction begins, let that angle be theta. Okay, and this angle will be, the whole half cycle is pi, so this angle will be pi minus theta. So for the entire cycle, the conduction is happening only when the voltage exceeds under forward bias 0.7 volt. So by symmetry, we can actually see this here. That is the, to drop the perpendicular, it will come here. So this is the angle. So with this thing, we know from constant voltage drop model, the diode conducts when the input voltage exceeds or equal to or exceeds equal to 0.7 volt. Okay, now the equation that connects this diode voltage and the input voltage is Vd equal to Vs sin omega t, where omega t is the phase of the angle. Okay, so it varies sinusoidally, the input signal, therefore that is represented by this omega t, where omega is the angular frequency, or simply we write it as sine of theta. We want to find this theta. So we already understood that when it exceeds 0.7, the diode starts conducting and goes like this, and the peak voltage will be Vs minus Vd, the peak input minus the voltage drop across the diode. So Vs minus Vd. So substituting, so we can actually rewrite this equation. Our aim is to find this theta. So rewrite this equation, theta equal to sine inverse of Vd by Vs, where Vs is the peak input voltage. Now Vs is actually given in the given problem. Vrms equal to 12 volt. So Vs peak input voltage is related to Vrms as root 2 Vrms. So Vrms times root 2 will be, root 2 is 1.414, Vrms is 12. You multiply, you can check, you will get nearly 17 volt. So that is the input. Now think about it, the input voltage is 17 volt and we are forming a half-wave rectifier. Okay, so you have to keep remembering these numbers so that we can understand the output with respect to the input that what we get. So if you look at here, you can clearly see this is 17 volt. Okay, output across the this thing, but this not the this is instant value, not the average DC average value. DC average we have to find, but you have to keep that aspect in mind. This is not average value. Okay, so this is only from the viewpoint of the KVL. Okay, so keep that aspect in mind. More likely, it is an instantaneous value. That's a correct way of putting things, not the DC value. DC value you will calculate. Now, so theta we have found. So you substitute here, theta you will get sine inverse of 0.7 divided by 17. You can see it will come out to be 2.35 or something degrees, or nearly 2.4 degrees. Okay, so this is the angle. Now we can see the conduction angle easily. The conduction angle is pi minus 2 theta. Okay, because it is conducting only from this point. This is the final point, this is the starting point. So pi minus theta will be pi minus 2 theta. That is the conduction angle. So total conduction angle is pi minus 2 theta, because it is actually pi minus theta minus theta. So this is the total conduction angle. So it is 180 degree minus 2.4. So I will assume it's 4.8. So nearly 175 degree. 175 degree is the total conduction angle. So out of 360 degrees, we get only the conduction happening only in nearly one half of the cycle. Now theta is extremely very small. Theta is extremely small. For the parameters we have chosen in the circuit, especially the input, extremely very small. Okay, so you may assume theta tends to 0. Theta tends to 0 and conduction is happening almost entirely in one half of the cycle. Okay, almost in one half of the cycle, conduction happens. Conduction occurs in almost one half of the cycle. Now theta tend to 0, so the other pi minus theta also will be close to, because it's 175 degree. So I will assume that because conduction occurs almost one, so I will say it is the theta 1 and theta 2. If I were to take, that is then it becomes close to 180 degree. So this I am assuming. Okay, but there is a small region within this 180 degree where it does not, the diode does not conduct. But this number being theta being very small, I am approximating as if the diode is conducting for the entire, approximating for the assumption that the diode conducts for the entire one half of cycle. This is an assumption, but this assumption is not out of place because we see that theta is extremely very small. So what is the, so total conduction angle we have found. The third question is related to DC, average DC output, average DC output, average DC output. So to do this average DC output, we will see that V out average will be equivalent to, we have to say, I told you this is instantaneous. We needed to do the, time average. So how do I do the time average? The input cycle is for the entire 2 pi. So I have to consider that entire period. Okay, and average over the entire period of cycle, and then I have to integrate. When I integrate, I know that it is here there is no output, so I need to integrate only between this limit and this limit. Okay, and here I have assumed that the diode conducts almost one half of the cycle, so it will be the limits will be from 0 to 180 degree. So that will be the limit for that. So V naught average will be equivalent to 1 by 2 pi, because that is the time average, and then it becomes Vs sin omega t minus Vd and d theta. I am averaging with the theta with the position theta equal to 0 to theta equal to 180 degree. So I already explained this logic. Okay, so with that, when we do this, we will get V naught DC average. Okay, so I will write it straight away. V DC average equivalent to 1 by 2 pi, 1 by 2 pi Vs. So this omega t is nothing but theta. Omega t is nothing but the theta. So which means it becomes Vs. Okay, let me write it. 1 by 2 pi, 1 by 2 pi, 0 to pi Vs sin theta minus Vd d theta. So when I do this time average, I will get V DC average will be, we have already got unipolar current with the half wave rectifier, which means current flows along only one direction, not in both the half cycles. Okay, So second half cycle, we don't even get output, so we do not have to worry with the half wave rectifier. So VDC average will be equivalent to 1 by 2 pi integral. Let me rewrite the equation. Vs sine theta minus Vd theta. Theta equal to 0 to 180 degree. So with this, we'll get 1 by 2 pi. I'll take Vs outside, Vs, and there is a minus sign, so I'll take that minus also, because integral sin theta d theta will be minus cos theta, so I will take that minus, and I will just put cos theta pi 0, and there is a minus sign here again, so I will write minus Vd is constant, Vd by 2 pi I will keep it, and this will become theta 0 to, okay. So we know, so this you substitute here, minus Vs by 2 pi, cos of pi will be equivalent to minus 1, so it becomes minus 1, and then minus from the way we do the perform the substituting the integration, we'll go with that minus sign. Cos 0 is 1, so minus 1 minus Vd by 2 pi into pi. So that will become, because it is, since I have assumed 0 and 180 degree, so the DC average output will be average, not exactly equal. So I will have to put the symbol of approximation. So there is a minus here, there is a minus 2 here. So minus of minus will be plus, and then in the denominator there is a 2 here. So it becomes Vs by pi minus Vd by 2. So this is the expression for VDC average. Now we substitute for the given values. Vs already we found it to be, so VDC average will be equivalent to, we already told what is the Vs value, that is 17, because Vs is, you check it, 17 root 2 into VRMS. So VRMS is 12 volt, so you substitute, you will get that. So 17 divided by pi minus Vd by 2, that is 0.7 by 2. So substituting here, you will get roughly about 5.05 volt. Now this is my average DC value, output. Now think about it, the input voltage is close to the input voltage, which is sinusoidal. The peak input voltage is 17 volt. Is the peak input voltage. Against that, for the 100 with 100, we get only 5.05 for that. Against that, so you have to think through that. That we are able to get nearly only 1/3, not only 1/3 in fact, because even that is less than 1/3, nearly 1/3 only as the output for the given voltage. Okay, input voltage. Now what is the next question? So we have found this theta equal to 2.4. Here we have found 175 degree. Here we have found 5.05 volt. So this also found peak current that flows through the circuit and the peak inverse voltage. Okay, so peak current will be flowing in the circuit when the input is at peak. So it is actually in phase. So the peak, you can see here, they are matching, they are in phase. So here you can see that when this input is at peak, you will get the maximum current that can flow. Okay, because that is when it can happen. It's very simple step with KVL. So we can do that, not a difficult thing. So peak diode current. Peak diode current. Okay, or peak value of the diode current. Peak value of the diode current is actually given by Vs minus Vd by R. And what is Vs? So that is equivalent to 12 root 2 minus 0.7 by 100 ohm. So that will become 12 root 2 is almost 17. So you get 16.3 divided by 100, because 17 minus 0.7 is 16.3. So you get 0.163 ampere, or simply 163 milliamperes. So think about this current. You are talking in terms of milliamperes. Okay. Now peak inverse voltage E, peak inverse voltage. PIV is actually, in this case, peak inverse voltage is given as Vs itself, and that is equivalent to 17 volts. So we have understood. So okay, so we have understood here. So look at the value of peak inverse voltage. That's quite significant number, 17 volt. Okay, so think about that. Let us go to another problem. This is a full wave rectifier. In this case, show that once we do this problem, let us compare the results that we obtained with a half wave rectifier, because the numbers we are going to use for the input and the resistor are same. So we will see what is the numbers we are going to generate out of the circuit. So show that the output is 0. Show that the output is 0 for an angle of 2 into sine inverse of Vd by Vs, centered around the zero, crossing points, of the sine wave input. Of the sine wave input. This is the first problem. Okay, so let us take one step at a time. So let us do this first. So try to understand here. The output for this full wave rectifier. So this is a circuit of a full wave rectifier. It uses a center tap transformer. So the output, because in one half of the cycle, D1 will be in the positive half, the D1 will be conducting, D2 will be off. In the negative half cycle, D2 will be on, D1 will be off. But the advantage by using these two diodes is that we are going to get output not in one half of the input cycle, but in both halves, because we are able to drive one of the two diodes always on. So therefore, there is no issue here. We will be able to effectively use the input signal. Okay, so that is about the full wave rectifier crux of the matter. Now, given we want to find the output is 0 for an angle of this centered around the 0 crossing points of the sine wave input. So what does that mean? So to understand that, let us try to draw the signal. This is my time period. This is my V in or V out. So the diode, now we will be able to have, so this is my positive input cycle, this is my negative input cycle. Because we are able to get the one of the diodes on always, we will be able to generate output not only in the positive cycle but also in the negative cycle, and the output will look like this. This is my sinusoidal output, and again here I will be able to get like this. So these are the outputs, and the outputs are shown by the dashed line. Solid line shows the input, shows the input. Okay, so show that the output is 0 for an angle of this centered around the 0 crossing points of the sine wave. So let us take this for example. This is a, we see this output only. So any voltage for the input from here to here. See this. So from this region, okay, from this region to this region, the diode does not conduct. Okay, from this region to this region, the diode does not conduct. One of the, okay, both the diodes are not conducting. Therefore, we will have the output button here to here, it will be 0. But in this point, pi minus theta and these pi plus theta, because these are symmetric signals, so the angle on either side around the center point will be same. But this point is pi plus theta, this point is pi minus theta. So show that the output is 0 for an angle of 2 into sine inverse of Vd by Vs centered around the 0. So it is centering the 0, centered around the 0, crossing points of the sine wave input. So these are all zeros. So around here. So what do you see? Conduction. Conduction. Okay. Not happening. Not happening. Hence, there is no current flowing through. Conduction not happening from pi minus theta to pi plus theta. Okay, conduction not happening from pi minus theta to pi plus 2 theta, pi plus theta. So which means for a total angle, this what is called centering around this 0, because in this region by solid line diodes, both the diodes are not conducting. Diodes are not conducting. So for a total angle of 2 theta, centered around the zero crossing points for a total angle of 2 theta, the diodes do not conduct. Both the diodes, in fact. Diodes do not conduct. So effectively substituting, that's what is written here, shown here, the output. So this is pi minus theta, this is pi plus theta. Okay, so which means you will see that we know Vd equal to Vs sin omega t sin theta. Okay, so theta equal to sin inverse of Vd by Vs. So implies 2 theta equal to 2 times sin inverse of Vd by Vs. So now look at, have we completed the proof? The answer to that is yes. That's what we are showing. The output is 0 for an angle of 2 sin inverse of Vd by Vs. Okay, so the first part is over. What is the second part? Question. Okay, just a second. Paper just due to air, it just flew. So to take the problems, I need to get the paper. So that is the reason why I am of my because of the wind, it just flew away. Okay, so the second part of the question is determine the percentage fraction in terms of, within bracket, in terms of percentage of each cycle the diode, each cycle for which the diode conducts. Because we are going to use two diodes, so diodes conduct. Fractional percentage. How do I do this? So I need to find the total. The fraction is given by fraction. This is a conduction fraction. So I call it as conduction fraction. Simply, conduction fraction is given by conduction angle divided by full cycle. Angle for full cycle you multiply by 100. So what is the conduction angle? Look at this figure. So it becomes, this is total is 360 degree. So this is 1 theta, 2 theta, 3 theta, 4 theta. So it is conduction angle is 2 pi minus 4 theta. So 2 pi minus 4 theta, okay, divided by 2 pi into 100. Now we already figured, because the here in this problem also the input source V input is actually 12 volt RMS and R is 100 ohms. So the parameters are kept constant in comparison to that of the half-wave rectifier problem that we did previously. So with this in mind, what I want you to think is 2 pi minus 4 theta. We already found theta equal to 2.4 degrees. So which means we found this. Okay. So the same thing only theta is. Okay. Only thing is now we have two diodes instead of one diode in the half-wave rectifier, and only one diode works in one half of the cycle. The other diode works in the other half of the cycle. Therefore, we have conduction in both the halves or in the entire cycle. So 2 pi minus 4 theta will be equivalent to 360 degree, because I am using degrees. So we have to be consistent with the units. So 4 into 2.4 divided by 360 into 100 to get in percentage. Okay, conduction fraction in percentage. So, or you simply call it as conduction fraction in percentage. You substitute here, you will get roughly about 360 minus 9.6, that will be 350.4 divided by 360 into 100. So if you look at this number, you will get roughly about 90. I have done this problem, so let me see my answer. So I will get roughly about 97%, 97, some number will come 97%. So which means I will have the output almost close to, because maximum is 100%. So only for 9.6 degrees out of the entire one cycle, we do not have any conduction happening. Okay, so that is the question number B. What about the question number C? Question number C is find the average DC output voltage, output value for this. This is a full wave rectifier for the given full wave rectifier. Since we have conduction happening in both the half cycles, the average DC output is twice the average DC output value obtained with half wave rectifier configuration. So which means we have V0 DC. Okay, V0 DC. DC means average here. So I'll put V0. DC average is we saw VD by pi minus what was this? Vs by pi. We just did this derivation, so it must be Vs by pi. So Vs by pi minus V d by Vd by 2. So twice this value. This is for half wave rectifier. So we know in case of half wave rectifier, this is the output. So therefore, in case of full wave rectifier, we must get twice the value. So V naught DC average will be equivalent to 2 times Vs by pi minus Vd. Okay, so this is the stuff. So how much is this value coming? Let us see. So 2 into 17, I will keep as Vs is 17. We have to take the peak value. So that is 34 by pi minus 0.7. So if you look at the calculator, let me find out. So it becomes 34. We can do a approximation. Pi is 3.1. So you'll get something like, okay, let me do this. Minus 0.7. So I will get 10.1 volt. 10.1 volt. Now think about this. Isn't it twice the value that we obtained for half wave rectifier? So what was the output we obtained for half wave rectifier? We obtained half wave rectifier average output is 5.05. This is in half wave rectifier. But now you see here we are getting 10.1, which is what expected. So everything is falling in place. Of course, we got that by multiplying by 2 only. So our logic is correct. Okay. Now we need to find the peak diode current. Let us find that. And also the peak inverse voltage. So D determine ID peak. ID itself is peak only. So I'm just re-emphasizing it's a peak current. Okay, ID peak. So it should occur when the input peaks. Input signal peaks. So obviously it will become the input signal peaks at an angle 90 degree. So it will become Vs sine 90 minus Vd by R. This is from your KVL. Okay. Now only one diode conducts in one hour of the cycle. Therefore, it is only minus Vd. That is the voltage drop across the diode. So that will be Vs minus Vd by R. Now you see here, you will get again 17 minus 0.7 divided by 100 ohms. That will be equivalent to 163 milliampere. The peak diode current in half wave rectifier and full wave rectifier for the same parameters is constant, is the same. Okay, so conclusion is peak diode current remains same, which is expected. Peak diode current remains same for both half wave rectifier and full wave rectifier. I got to be careful here. I must use the word full wave rectifier, the center tap. Okay, because bridge rectifier is also a full wave rectifier only. Only difference is in bridge rectifier we use 4 diodes, whereas in full wave rectifier, traditional full wave rectifier, we use only 2 diodes. In which case, in the later case, only 1 diode conducts in one half of the cycle, whereas in bridge rectifier, you have 2 diodes conducting in one half of the cycle. So we got to be very precise what we are writing. As long as we understand what we are writing, we are okay. Peak diode current remains same for both half wave rectifier and a traditional full wave rectifier. Okay. Now the last question is peak inverse voltage. The maximum voltage under reverse bias of the diode that is expected to occur across the diode which is under reverse bias. So peak inverse voltage will be, we have seen this is 2 Vs minus Vd. So that will be equivalent to 2 times 2 times you see here 2 times what is that? 2 times 17 minus 0.7. So that will be equivalent to 33.3 volt, quite high. Look at the peak inverse voltage with this one, it is simply Vs only. So Vs is 17 volts, whereas with this one, it is 33.3. So peak inverse voltage is quite high, okay, which means the possibility of entering in the breakdown region, if you don't choose the proper diode for the circuit parameters that you have chosen, it could be little tricky. Okay, you got to understand that the maximum voltage the diode can withstand before entering, and that is the reverse bias voltage before entering the breakdown. So you have to understand this number carefully. Okay, a very, very important number. Now let us go to the last problem as an example. Then I encourage you to do more problems. So let me write the problem for the bridge rectifier. For the bridge rectifier, circuit shown here. Apply constant voltage drop model. Okay, to show that the average DC component, average of the DC component of V0 is approximately 2 Vs by pi minus 2 by 2Vd. Now we will extend the knowledge that we gained from half wave rectifier and full wave rectifier to understand this. See, for half wave rectifier, we already show V0 equal to Vs by pi minus Vd by 2. So this is DC average. I should write very precisely. So V0 is the output, DC average, so subscript. So V0 DC average equal to Vs by pi. For full wave rectifier, V0 DC average is, I have to multiply it twice because in both the cycles I'm having, so it becomes 2 Vs by pi minus Vd. Now for bridge rectifier, let us look into the concept and then get the clarity. Bridge rectifier. See, in bridge rectifier, we have in the positive half cycle D1 and D2 conducts. So the conduction path is like this, like this, like this, and then comes back. Okay, so that is the conduction path. Now in the reverse bias, in the other half, I should not say forward bias or reverse bias because two diodes are always under forward bias, two diodes are always under reverse bias. So I will say in the negative half cycle, okay, negative half cycle, here it will be positive. So which means I will see the current will flow through D3 and then through R and then D4 and then goes here. So you can see that there will be two diodes that will be, and the output is always taken across this resistance R and the unipolar current is generated like this. Now because for bridge rectifier we note that the only difference that is affecting, rest of the things are same. So for bridge rectifier we note that during each half cycle, two diodes are conducting. Two diodes are conducting. For bridge rectifier, we note that during each half cycle, two diodes are conducting. So which means the voltage drop, the only parameter that changes in comparison to see here in half wave rectifier it is Vd by 2. In full wave rectifier it is Vd. Another, because in full wave rectifier only one diode is working, but in a bridge rectifier two diodes are working under forward bias. Another two under any half cycle. Okay, whether it is positive half cycle or negative half cycle, you will have two diodes working. So which means the only parameter that changes in comparison to full wave rectifier, traditional full wave rectifier, I mean, is the voltage drop across the voltage drop, total voltage drop. Total voltage drop, not total voltage drop term. I will put that way. So which means the total voltage drop term, if I were to see, because two diodes are conducting under any half cycle, it will be 2 Vd. So which means the answer will be for bridge rectifier V0 DC average will be, look at here, it becomes 2 Vs by pi. So that term I am keeping it as it is, minus 2 Vd. So Vd simply become 2 Vd. That is what the proof is. Now the next, go to the next question. Show that peak value of current. Okay. Now you let us look at what will be the value here. If you look at DC average, I told you that because there is a not one voltage drop, twice the voltage drop, therefore there is a slight output decrease with respect to traditional full wave rectifier. In traditional full wave rectifier, we saw V0 average is Okay, let us first substitute what do we get here, and then I will compare that. So 2 into 17, because Vs is actually, since Vs is root 2 Vrms, and we had already said in the given problem Vrms is, okay, sorry. The given problem Vrms is given out to be, so let me put it this way. Vrms input is given to be 12 volt. Okay, and therefore Vs is peak, capital Vs stands for the peak voltage of the source. That will be root 2 Vrms, that will be 17 volt divided by pi minus 2 into 0.7, that will be 1.4. So 34 by pi minus 1.4. I told you this is 34 by pi will be 34 divided by pi will be equivalent to 10.0, 10.8, 10.8 minus 1.4. So approximately that will be equivalent to 9.4 volt. Now think about this. Here we are getting, so what do we get? V out average DC, average DC of a rectifier. We got, how much we got? 5.05 volt. Now for the full wave rectifier, because we have kept the parameter same, so we can compare with a different configuration because the circuit parameters are the same. 10.1 volt. This is traditional full wave rectifier. Now V0 average DC bridge rectifier, 9.4 volt. So you can see that the output DC, average DC output in a bridge rectifier is smaller, but bridge rectifier has certain advantages as we discussed in yesterday's class. So I'm not going to get back into that, but you know it already. So this is what is the peak value of current. Now what about peak value of current? Peak value of current is given by, now we have the output is actually Vs minus 2 Vd by R. So essentially you have 2 Vd factor coming into play, 17 minus 1.4 divided by 100. So that will be equivalent to 156 milliampere. Now remember this ID peak of a rectifier 163 milliampere. Full wave rectifier ID peak is 163 milliampere. Now with the bridge rectifier we get slightly lower current but not very big difference for the given circuit configuration. So you can see that there is a slight decrease in the peak current, but not really concerning. Bridge rectifier, not really a big issue. Bridge rectifier. Okay, so when we compare, we have to ensure that to enable this kind of comparison, we have to take the same Vrms input and the same R value. So that is very important. Now the final thing, we have been asked to calculate what is the peak inverse voltage. Peak, so this is my peak inverse voltage. This is the PIV is given as we have seen already in yesterday's class. I discussed the answer to this is Vs minus Vd, and this will be 17 minus 0.7, and we get how much we get? We will get actually 16.3 volt. Now think about this peak inverse voltage. Again, peak inverse voltage half wave rectifier is 17 volt Vs itself. Full wave rectifier, look at the full wave rectifier value. You got 33.3 volts. Okay, 33.3 volts. Okay, and then this much voltage will appear in the circuit. Okay, for that given circuit. So now if the diode breakdown is say 20 volt, let us say, then definitely we are in for a trouble in designing the circuit. So the lower the peak inverse voltage, better it is. Peak inverse voltage in case of bridge rectifier, BR I will write it, is 16.3 volt. So you can see the advantage from the peak inverse voltage of the bridge wave rectifier configuration. Okay, so I hope you have understood these concepts of the half wave rectifier, full wave rectifier, traditional full wave rectifier that uses center tap transformer with the two diodes, and then we also discussed about the bridge rectifier. Okay, so I encourage you to do more problems, and the more you do, the better you get clarity with the understanding of the concepts. Thank you.